This is Computer Science and Engineering Exploration Seminar. And then this week we are going to talk about program language class. So in here we are going to look at a history of program languages, and then after that we are going to see what we are going to learn in the program language course. Okay, and then basically we try to understand how actually program runs on the computer. That's the main topic of the program languages. So this is the lineage of program languages. The program language actually start around the 1950s. So probably the first program languages will be Fortran. It's been invented in 1957, and around that time we are going to look at the emergence of the other languages like COBOL and this. This is probably not the older program language we are going to look at in the history. Probably there are more program languages developed, and then probably they are used so far. Some of them are just gone after some time, but they have some influence to the other program languages. Before we actually look at the lineages, actually in the program languages, we usually categorize them into 4 different program languages. First one is imperative languages. Second one is functional, and then third one is procedural, and then fourth one object-oriented program languages. So imperative program language, it's like imperative. It's like giving a command every time. So if you look at probably typical program languages that falls into this category will be C or C++ languages. Okay, C is probably the first one. So if you look at the C program languages, there are a list of statements, and then they will be executed one by one to accomplish the process you wanna implement in that program languages, in that programming function. Okay. The functional languages are a little bit different. It's try to implement, and the imperative languages, they have functions also, but in the functional language they try to implement more pure mathematical functions. So once you give some of the input to the function, then it will give the result. That's all. Inside the function, they don't change anything global, and any changes made inside the function doesn't affect any global state of the program. And then the third one is procedural. Imperative, it's more focused on the statement by statement execution. But if you look at the procedural languages, that means you can have multiple procedures. Sometimes people think procedure and function is almost the same. It depends on the programming language types. It's pure functional programming, then the function and procedure is different concept. But in normal imperative languages, function and procedure is almost the same. So procedure means I can have multiple procedures, okay? And then I can organize the programming, my program into the multiple procedures, and then I can just call them every time I need it. So it's not function. So in the function in mathematics, you can just give the argument and then it will just return the result. That's all. Inside the function doesn't affect anything at all. But in the procedure, you can change something global state. So procedure can have the argument, and then with the argument, it will just execute some of the body of the procedures, and then it may change the global state of the program and then return it, also with some return result. So procedure might have, it's sometimes called a side effect. So not just the result, it might change the some of the global state. and then it allows it. And then it's more useful to use the procedure than just programming with the pure functional program. Okay, and then fourth one is object-oriented languages. Probably the C++ was the representative program languages that in that category. So object-oriented means, I mean, in the previous case, they just try to focus on the statement or function and procedure and what we are going to do in the program. But in the object-oriented program languages, it tries to focus on the data. So data is an object, and then I'm going to do some of the processing on that object. By doing that, I can achieve certain program goals. That's the a little bit different approach, different concept. But probably if you look at the modern program languages, they all have these features. Usually, they try to provide imperative features, functional features, procedural features, and object-oriented features in just one program languages. Okay, let's get back to the lineage of program languages. Starting with the Fortran and then COBOL and Lisp. Probably COBOL and Fortran and COBOL is just imperative languages, and then but Lisp is probably the functional program languages. So starting from Fortran, we've seen the Algol 60 meaning the Algol has been changes through the history, but it's defined on 1960. That's the Algol 60. So the Algol first introduced the procedures. So you can have procedures within program, and then also the Fortran make an influence on the BASIC, and then the Lisp is starting from the 1958. It has some of the lineages reached to the Perl and then Smalltalk. They are all, the Smalltalk is the functional languages, but Perl itself is not, but it has the functional features. And then Algol 60 make great influence on the C program. C is probably the most popular program languages until probably 90s, until Java comes up. So C and then C++, and then C++ actually based on the C, it added more feature of the object-oriented languages, object-oriented features. Objective-C is also has object-oriented features, but C++ was more popular, and then this feature, object-oriented features, make an influence on the Perl too. And then at the just before the C, actually Pascal was invented and then designed to make a probably the standard program languages for education. It has been popular for a while, but C was right away replaced the Pascal. And then Objective-C, if you look at the current the Apple iPhone, at the beginning the programming was developed with the Objective-C, but later on it's changed to different languages, Swift. So they have influence. And then the Perl itself, it's a script languages. Before the Perl, probably the other languages are all usually compiled or interpreted languages. So, but Perl is script languages. And then if you look at the script languages like Python and then PHP is the probably the representative program languages in script languages. Okay. So Perl make impact on the Python and PHP, and it has been probably used in many applications, and then PHP usually used in web development. And then after that, Python make the influence on the Ruby, and then Java has been invented, and then it has the originally it has been developed for the web applications, but later on it just can use it's standalone applications too. And then it also has the object-oriented language features from C++. And then in a similar way, JavaScript was developed for web development. And then that, if you look at the name Java, it's actually JavaScript is a different language from the Java, but they have influence on the JavaScript. And then the Scala, it's been from the Java, has similar features in the Java, and then in current development environment, Scala is compiled to the Java bytecode and then running on the Java virtual machines. So Java has many features from the Java. Scala has many features from the Javas. And then C# is developed from Microsoft, and then as developed to replace the Java, because Java was the Unix world, and then C# is tried to used in the Windows environment. And then there are many languages, right? But if you look at the history of the programming languages, probably these four languages were the most popular languages so far. C has been designed in 1972, and then C++, almost C and C++ is almost the same. People think this is the same languages because C provide all the features in the C, and then additionally it has the object-oriented features. So if someone knows the program language C, then people think you also knows the C++. Also Java has been used in the commercial applications, web applications, and then many commercial applications Java has been used. And then Python, it has been used in many applications as in script languages. But if you look at the recent emergence of the machine learning platform, they use the Python a lot. So I think probably for the time being, C and C++, and then Java and Python will be the most probably the most popular language in the program language environment. Okay. Now we are going to actually look at the Fortran programming, how they are developed. When the first computer was invented, they're usually used for the scientific and engineering application areas. Okay, so they try to, for example, try to use it in weather predictions, and then computational fluid dynamics, the plasma physics simulation, and the computational chemistry. So they used in scientific areas. So the Fortran itself it's actually short for formula translating system. So in a science, they try to explain certain things in an equation, in a formula. So once you have the formula, then the Fortran is easy to translate into the program. It actually has been developed in the by this guy John Baucus with other colleagues in the IBM. It's been developed in 1956, And then it was the first high-level programming language. Before that, everyone just tried to programming use the assembly languages. Assembly languages more like machine languages, but in the form of the human readable form, not just one zeros. It's been used here. Some of the usually call that mnemonic. So using assembly languages, people try to program the computer almost in a machine level. But the Postron is high level languages. So it has the functions and then the iterations and then conditionals. Such things are implemented, designed in the Postron program languages. And then the Postron is still used in scientific areas. Many applications. If you look at any plans in the in a science department, later on they will probably talk about Postron programming. Okay, so and then there's the website. It's called the Top 500 Supercomputer site. It's try to rank top supercomputers from the first to the 500. So to rank them, they just use the LINPACK benchmark. It's more like linear algebra packages, and then using that one, it just build the benchmark, and then the benchmark itself is written in the Postron, and then in the supercomputing ranking, they're still using LINPACK benchmark written in Postron. Okay? Second area we're going to see is the business area. In the early days in the business area, program language used in that area was the COBOL, as common business-oriented languages. It's been designed by the certain committee called CODASIL. It's a conference and committee-owned data system languages. But when they designed it, they looked at the previous languages. It's called Prometic. It's been designed by the U.S. Navy Rear Admiral. It's more like generals in the U.S. Navy. And then her name was Grace Hopper. And then if you look at the probably if you follow the name of the GPUs from the NVIDIA, the Grace Hopper just appears in the name of the NVIDIA GPUs to honor her. Okay, but anyway, so Grace Hopper designed Flowmatics, and then after that, the COBOL itself designed by this committee, but they just try to use the ideas from the Flowmatic languages. It's more like English-like programming languages. Its concept is once you program it, the program itself self-documenting, and then should be highly readable. So by just looking at the source code, you can understand what they are doing in that program. So probably need any other extra document to explain it. Probably need it, but the code itself explain many things in an English languages. So for the COBOL, they have like 300 reserved words. If you look at the C languages, for example, the reserved words should be probably less than, I think less than 50. So, but 300 reserved words, meaning you try to include probably possible English sentence in the program languages. So the IBM was the main main vendor in the mainframe computers. And then many business applications just use the developed using the COBOL. They actually try to make it modernized, but still they are on the way. So if you think about any banking system, the core banking system still using mainframe computers, and then those programs are still implemented with the COBOL. So it's actually hard to replace it. Once you want to replace it, then you want to make sure every behavior, every the process implemented with the COBOL should be the same as the newly developed programming. If you want to develop in a different language, for example, C or Java, then someone has to make sure that they are actually the same. So that's why it's very hard to replace it. Okay. And now we are going to talk about a little bit about the programming language called BASIC. It's at the beginning it was the developed for education for the students outside the STEM field, meaning science, technology, engineering, math, outside those fields. So it's been developed in the two professors, John Kameny and Thomas Kruch, in Dartmouth colleges. So it's beginners all-purpose symbolic instruction code. It stands for, actually BASIC stands for this. But once it's developed, it actually got popular. It got popular with the microcomputers and home computers. So probably the early 70s, and then people had some of the microcomputers only for hobby, so not the real the personal computers or home computers, but they just use it and developed some of the games and some programs on that machines. So probably the at the time the popular one is the Altair 8800, and then this is the computers, and then this is the called teletype. It's like a keyboard, so you're just typing and then make the programming, and then you can just put it into this machine. So in that environment, the people use the BASICs to make the programming, make the games, for example, and then the Microsoft BASIC interpreter is developed by Paul and Bill Gates in 1975. It's been developed for these machines, and inside this machine actually has the Intel process 88 processors. Okay, and then after that, this BASIC interpreter from the Microsoft has been developed to GW BASIC and the Quick BASIC, and then it's been very popular for video game development for hobbyist. Then later on, the Microsoft developed Visual Basic, and then this one also has some popularity in the small business applications. So we've seen probably the old programming languages, Fortran and then COBOL and then BASIC. Now we are going to look at more popular, probably currently popular programming languages in the next slide. Okay, so currently popular languages, I mentioned it in the first slide, range of the programming languages, the C and C++. C is developed by Dennis Litch in AT&T Bell Lab, and then later on, C++ added object-oriented features. Has been developed by Van Strostrup. There are 15 years difference of the first C and then C++. The C is has been used in many system software. So, for example, Unix. That's been the grandparent of the Linux. Okay, the Unix is actually written in C, and then C plus add more features to the C. For example, strong type and object-oriented features. So these two languages are probably the most popular language in stereo and system software. And then Java has been developed in the Sun Microsystem. Later on, Sun Microsystem has been merged to Oracle system. So in the Sun Microsystem, the James Gosling and then their colleagues developed Java languages. And then they just, when they develop Java, they try to make it like this. Write the source code once, and then you want to run it on everywhere, because different machine, different operating system, then the other program languages like C, they need to compile it again to make the right binary executable. But for Java, because it's going to be running on the Java virtual machine, for programmers, they just implement it just once, write once, and then once you just compile it with the Java compiler, Java bytecode will run everywhere. But to do that, actually, every machine, every operating system has to develop the same Java virtual machine that can handle Java bytecode. So anyway, for programmers, they probably avoid some of the burden to handle all the different operating system environment and different machines. They can avoid it. So the Java itself, because it has some of the influence from the C++, so they have object-oriented features. And then one of the probably prominent features is going to be memory leakage pre-programming, meaning you can just allocate some of the space while you are running your programming. And then in the C++ or C, you have to deallocate. You have to free this space when you don't need this space anymore. But in a complex programming, it's sometimes confusing when I have to free it, and then should I free it here or should I free it later? It's harder to define, harder to determine. Sometimes programmers forget to free it in certain control paths. So that's going to call the memory leakage. You allocate it and then you don't free it, then you don't have enough space to allocate the new data because of the some of the memories that has been allocated before, but it's not going to be used. But because it has not been deallocated, due to that, you don't have a space. That's called memory leakages. So the Java itself try to freeing those process, freeing memory space automatically. So programmer don't have to think about it freeing their space. They can just allocate it and then use it, and then just move on to the next logic. Then those data is not going to be used at all. Then it's going to be freed automatically. So Java has been used in many business applications, and then using standard Java virtual machines. And then the third one is Python. It's been developed in Guido van Rossum in 1991. It's script languages, but has some of the structured and then object-oriented features it has it. Also, it provides functional programming features too. And then why people use Python? Because it has very powerful and comprehensive standard libraries. So you don't have to implement your own libraries. It provides so many things as your standard. It's also true for the Java. The why Java is popular in the business applications because it has many standard Java libraries, Java classes. That's also true too in the Python. And then more recently, it's going to be more widespread with the machine learning framework because machine learning framework they just adopt Python as almost the default programming languages in their framework. Okay, now we are going to look at probably the interesting the website from the YouTube. You try to find the most popular programming languages from 1958 to now. They can just show the which programming language are more popularity. If it's on the top, they are popular programming languages. So at the 1958, and then Q3, meaning third quarter of the year, then assembly language was the most popular languages at the time. The Fortran gaining some of the popularity, but most people using the assembly, even machine code. And then if it moved to the 1965, then Fortran gaining more popularity than the assembly languages. Okay, and then moved to the 1975, the Fortran is popular, and then COBOL, Lisp, and then Pascal gaining popularity there. C is here, but it's not popular yet. Even Pascal is more popular, has more popular languages than C. And then, but if you to the 1983, then the popular becomes the most popular one, and then C is right below that, and then Fortran is here. And then you try to look at, you start to look at the basic programming language here. Then 1993, and then C is the most popular language, and then Pascal comes down to here, and then Fortran is still here, and then C++ is gaining popularity. But if you compare with the popularity of the C, there's huge difference, right? If you go into the 2003, and then Java becoming the most popular programming languages. And then right after that, because of the web, the PHP and then JavaScript gaining popularity there. And then C and C++ still in the high range of the list, and then the Visual Basic is still getting some of the popularity because small business applications at the time they are developed with the Visual Basics. And then Python start to show their presence in the list, right? And then if you go into the 2013, And then Java is still popular, JavaScript, PHP is still popular, and then Python gaining so many popularity. Yeah, from here it appears to this point. And then moving to the 2019, the Python is becoming the most popular programming languages. And then Java and JavaScript right below the Python. And then if you look at the current 2025, probably recent years, the Python still have the popularity because of the machine learning framework. And then JavaScript because of the web programming, and then Java still popularity. C is still here, but C# is more popularity than the C. So probably people try to develop application with the C, then they probably try to have the feature of the object-oriented languages, so they probably use the C++. So if you visit this website, the YouTube website, then you can see the whole flow of the popularity from the 1958 to the current years. Okay.